for tuning in, and let's get to it.
Well, thank you for joining me, LP. I'm really
Thank you.
excited to be able to talk to you. I mean, your
Me too.
story for me, when I heard, really looked into it, it has this like, I don't know, it's like a perseverance thing, right? Like you've gone through so
It
much.
sure is.
You it's a journey, right? Like, and it's not one that you've given up on. And I think that it's just it's inspiring. Like it's inspiring to see that success can come to you when you're ready for it, right? In a sense.
Exactly. And I think, like even like the other day, I don't know, I was like having a moment of like, I wouldn't say doubt, but like just, it's like a weird time, things keep getting pushed back as far as having shows and shit like that. So, um, I was just like, I, I felt like myself getting down a little bit, and I was like, you know what, honestly, because I have this whole album that's ready to go and everything, and we're releasing songs and they're being received very well. I'm really happy, but like ultimately, it really is just about, it may sound corny or whatever, but it really is about the music and about giving it to people, and the people that need it or want it and feel, you know, um, emotional about it, and that's my only job, and that's the one of the reasons why I did persevere, because I felt like I just wanted to do that for you know for the most part very pure reasons. I mean, everything that comes with it is beautiful and fun, and but ultimately the making of like the music, the songs that are allowed to bang around in people's minds and hearts is like, the ultimate goal and the ultimate like um prize, so that's what I'm about. So if I just keep doing that, then I'm fine.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's like it's incredible that a song that a label was not even really interested in, like Lost Appeal,
Yeah.
became a hit in 17 other countries, right? Like, and
Yeah,
it's
man.
just like your unique story in achieving the success that you've achieved. I think it's inspiring to a lot
Well,
of people to
thank
just
you,
keep that
thank
going,
you,
right?
man. Yeah, well, that's why I always tell that story, less to aggrandize myself than to kind of give people hope that, because people are looking at everything, like this guy, and I've been on the other side of a desk, many times when, it's like dating, it's like, sorry to be crude, but I know when that person wants to fuck me when they don't,
Right,
you know.
right.
So I'm just like, "Huh, do you want to get down?" And the guy's like, "No, I'm good." I'm like, "All right then, fuck you, bye, next." Um, but um, but yeah, it's it just comes down to that, and that's what life is. It's like a series of like, I like you, I don't like you, and you just, if you take it like less seriously, like, or take it less to heart. I mean, I'm as sensitive as they come. I mean, I get like hurt by it and everything, but in that regard, I don't, anymore, because I'm just like, that's what this whole fucking thing is about. Like people liking a song or not liking a song, and sometimes, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and
Right.
and and that's the beauty of it, is that that's what's kind of dope about, you know pretty much everything, but especially the arts, because it's like, when you find people like, that's what's part of the fun and the joy of music or of art, of any kind, is first that you like it, and then you experience that someone else likes it, and you kind of like them because of that, like it gives you something in common, and it's just a
Right.
beautiful, I mean, it's a beautiful way to spend your life, and that's why I worked so hard to spend my life like this, because like there's not to me there's nothing more important or better than connecting through music, through art.
Yeah, I mean, and you're very prolific. You've written before, you were reading like of over 140 songs of your own, and I think like with other
Oh
folks,
God, I'm so
and
far
then
past that.
no, but then like the
Okay.
that you got your music out there in your own way. I'm curious, like, how did you discover your voice? Because I feel like that's such a key component of what people connect with.
Oh, my
Because you
actual singing voice?
Yeah, yeah, like just you were
Oh
like,
yeah.
you know what, I
Oh
want to
man.
do this, right? Because you're prolific in
Yeah.
songwriting, but your
Yeah.
voice is
Well,
just there's a
it,
magnetism to it,
it
I feel.
thank you. I honestly, one of I never give her enough credit for this, but my um my ex-girlfriend, the one that I wrote Lost on You about, when we first met, I was just songwriting for other people, And I remember I hadn't I hadn't like, you know, I hadn't sung out in a long time because I was already past these two major label deals that I had, and I hadn't sung for people in a while. But like, I was like trying to impress her, so I like sang an old song of mine for her the first day we met. And I just remember her going like, she's English, and she was like, "So you're not going to sing?" She's like, you're not gonna sing. You're just gonna write songs and not sing. And she was, it was really cute. She was so like kind of like, I don't understand, And yeah, and I remember that moment going like, yeah, why am I not singing? I like, and and I forgot all about the whole impressing women thing about singing, which is always a joy, And
True.
then maybe that's what inspired me to like, yeah. And then I started singing out in this club to do this pretty much the same to impress her and whoever. But and then that's when this got the ball rolling again for me to be an artist again. But I never give her enough credit. But she doesn't need credit, man. I wrote a lot of songs about her.
That's true.
She's not
That's
allowed to
true.
have credit and get all these songs written about her.
Well, that's a good muse, though. That's a good, to have.
Yeah. She's a hell of a muse. Hell of a muse.
I was gonna ask you. So, in your writing, when you're writing, I read that you like to write with a ukulele.
I do. Yeah. That story got out of control at one point. I started playing the ukulele when I was like, again, like I thought my artist career was over. I was just songwriting. So I was like playing the ukulele for fun, for just for the love of the game. And I remember thinking, what a sweet little instrument. And I had like a cheap one that like sounded good that I didn't even carry it with a case. I just used to bring it to sessions. And then when I do these like big sessions, like the first session I ever brought it to was the Rihanna session that I wrote I'll drink to that with, but I didn't write it on it. We were writing to a track,
Got
that these guys, the runners, did. But what happens is after, when we get all the melodies together, then I like go off and like kind of just get the chords and like kind of like and go over lyrics while I play the ukulele, and that's like kind of that would became like a thing that I did that was just fun, instead of listening to the track over and over and like do 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 like rewind and all that shit. I
right.
just get the chords and fucking down and then write lyrics to that. So yeah, it became kind of like a little bit of my thing, and it also like it brought the joy back for me. It's also, I think, how whistling came to the table because I would just lay in bed and kind of play these ukulele, like make up these little ukulele ditties and sing and whistle to them. And then and so when I got back to like, and it also started me writing songs for myself, like when I wrote Into the Wild with PJ Bianco, we put down a ukulele, and I believe that song came from originally like from a drum loop that we had, and then put down ukulele, and then I was sitting behind him while they were putting bass on it, and I was whistling the Into the Wild thing,
Right.
whatever, and I don't know. I was just like, I was just used to like whistling to myself, like so I was whistling that, and PJ like turns around, he's like, "What is that?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm just whistling to the." You mean I was like this thing I'm whistling, like never thinking like, "Oh, I'm gonna put it on there." And he goes, "Put that down," and then it became, and then that kind of kicked off my whistle part of my shit,
Right.
So it was like the ukulele was like a fluke, like I wasn't like, "Hey man, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be that lesbian who whistles and plays the ukulele." That's my goal. It just was like I just already happened to be, the first thing, and then I was like, "Oh shit, ukulele," and then I was like, "Oh shit, whistling," and then it all came together, man. And now I'm a goddamn cartoon, right? So yeah, it's good.
Well,
Oh,
I
kids,
mean, the,
grab
the,
a
the thing
ukulele and
the,
whistle
the
away.
thing with I feel like with the way that you sing, you just have there's like a haunting element to it. Like that's
Mm.
what's really entrancing about
I
it.
used to be a
And
ghost back in the day. Is what I'm thinking. Yeah.
And I think that that's what I mean, but I feel like that's what people connect, right? Like the way that people
Yeah.
interpret the songs, not just because the song interpreted by someone else that maybe wouldn't have that same depth would not, get to your soul in the
Thanks,
same
man.
way, you know. I feel like
Thank you.
that's a
Yeah, I
big
mean, I
part.
think thank you. I think that, and even like the ukulele, I kind of like, like it's like it's meant in that way. Like I find like, I think the ukulele, people always say it's a like happy instrument. I find it kind of a bit melancholy sometimes, and
I
just,
can see that.
there's like a simplistic kind of like, I think kind of like hauntedness about it. Like it's so spare, of an instrument, and there's no sustain, and it's just very like, yeah, I don't know. It's, to me, there's something about it that just absolutely goes like directly to my heart somehow. It pulls all this shit out of me, which is interesting.
That's great. And that's what your vocals and your lyrics do. I was going to ask you, so how has it been, now that we're in this pandemic? How has that been? I know you did a live stream and
Yeah.
then you did a car show. How has that been? Because clearly it's different energies overall. How has that transition been for you in terms of performing that way?
I mean, it's not like, I'm not like, this is great. Let's just keep doing this shit.
Right.
Definitely not. Like, it's great like singing the shit out of some song and being like, nothing, like crickets, like just soundstage, or just looking out and just being like, beep, beep, great, out the window. I mean, that shit is fucking whack.
I'm sure it's pretty surreal.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, I think like, I've been told that many people really love the drive-in show, just because, I mean, I don't even think it had anything to do with me that they liked it. I think they were just like, thank God we're out of the house. Look, people, look, honey, people, holy shit, So, yeah, so I can't take any credit for like a good time really, but yeah, I'm happy that it was like some kind of sustenance for my fans or whatever.
And how has it been in terms of like for you now that you've had time to slow down because you were really busy touring? Do you find yourself more like writing more or doing things that you didn't really have time to do prior?
I mean, I've really caught up on my drinking. I'm killing it. I mean, I must be up to like at least 2 bottles of wine a day. But yeah, so I'm killing it in that sense. What else? What else have I gotten really good at? Well, yeah, no, I've been working on the record a lot. We definitely like dialed in songs, and there's songs on this record that would have never, been on this record, like, and I had to really kind of like whittle it down. I got like several leftovers for the next record. As usual, I usually kind of do that, but I feel like, there's many aspects of this record that are because I got to stay home, so much, and it wasn't as rushed because the record would have been uh, out already, basically, you
Right,
know.
right.
So, so yeah, there's something to be said for being able to take some time, and I don't know. I think I try to look on the bright side of all of it. I think I'm a big appreciation person. Like even what we started this conversation with about me, you know, uh, waiting for my success and things like this. I feel like I wouldn't change my perspective for anything. I mean, I think that is the biggest thing that's like um, been the biggest gift that I've gotten from all of this is that I have this perspective that allows me to appreciate things in real time and at a very high level. I think or I mean, I only know for myself. I mean, I'm sure I could appreciate even more, but it's very cool to like kind of always be thinking of that aspect of it. And I think a year like this or 2 years like this
Right.
really is going to really I hope show us what's important, like that other people are really important, like, and community is really important. That's why like even just like how people deal with these times, like goes down to like, I don't want to criticize anybody for not wearing a mask or whatever, but like even if, whatever, you wear a mask to, like, to protect other people. It's
Right,
like,
right.
and I feel like we have to like you know um we have to like think about our fellow people, our fellow men and women, women and men. And
Yeah, no,
that's
definitely.
one of the most important thing, and everybody in between. I'm sorry, fellow people. But
Definitely, definitely. I mean, it's definitely,
and
I was gonna say it's definitely great that you have new music also for your fans, and because
yeah,
people right now more than ever are turning to the arts as well, right? Like that's a big
yeah. I
component.
mean, it's so important. I mean, that's just like what gets us like through. And I think there's going to be so many great works coming out, for a long time. I mean, like I love when people talk about like the plague, like how it led into the Renaissance, like the last plague. I think that's beautiful, and I hope it's like that, and I think it will be, and I think I'm trying to err on the side of hopefulness. I mean, there's so much like bullshit out there that's like,
Right.
it depends on the person you talk to. You could be like, kind of like, it's gonna be okay. Or it's fucked.
Well, and I
Like
think also day by day, right? There's
the
days where
devil.
you're like everything's
Yeah.
great, and there's days where you're like I'm going crazy in my house.
Yeah. Yeah. And everything fucking in between.
Right.
So I think I'm taking from this what I can and trying to turn it into art for the most part.
No, that's great. And speaking of that, good transition.
Yeah.
The one that you love, the video and the single. I love the
Yeah.
single. I love the vibe. It starts off like when it starts off, I actually pictured a horse and then I see a horse. And I'm like,
Really?
oh,
Oh, how cool.
awesome. I
Yeah,
was
that
like,
the whistle got you into the
yeah.
horse. Yeah, I know. Honestly, Darren Craig, the director, when we were talking about like, they were talking about a car, and when I got off the phone call, I was like, dude, I can't, I don't want to do anything in a fucking car. Like no, like I'm like that's so played, And then I was like, anything else, a fucking motorcycle, I'll do it on a jet ski in a suit. Yeah. And then and then uh and then he was like, a horse, and I was like, oh fuck, that's it. It's like so cool.
Yeah.
And I used to ride when I was a kid, and my mom did too. And yeah.
And
So
this
it's cool.
video was filmed where Westworld was is shot as well.
Yeah, yeah. I stood on that porch of that house.
That's
It was like
awesome. That
really
is
where
super
she says bye
awesome.
to her dad like 100 times. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly,
So
exactly. Love the show.
yeah.
Random question associated with that. What
Love the
world would
show.
you want to go to in that realm?
In Westworld,
Yeah.
it depends. Is Evan Rachel Wood there? I'm going where she's going. Wherever
Whatever
she's
world she's
going,
in.
I'd like to go. Yeah, yeah. Whatever world she's in. How do you get to that? It's like a video game. How do you get to that world? Well, you gotta eat 27,000 of those smiley guys, whatever it is.
Right.
But yeah,
That's funny.
yeah.
For the and then you have a new single and a new video as well for How Low Can You Go? And it's a very beautiful video. Like the imagery is like Day of the Dead-esque, but like ritualistic. There's so many beautiful elements to that. Tell me about
Thanks,
the
man.
process in creating that because
Um.
that was also done under these times, right?
Yes, that was you know um Eric Malden directed that one. He's super dope. And I don't know. We're doing he's been working on like a documentary like thing that we've been like kind of like documenting tours and stuff like that. And I always liked his aesthetic, and so I knew I wanted it to be in Mexico. I love Mexico, and I wanted there to be like this kind of dreamlike kind of altered state kind of vibe to it, and I feel like we were just trying to like put the Day of the Dead kind of thing into it a little bit, and just like this kind of feeling like a little bit I feel like that song is sort of about going out at night in LA and stuff like that, and just the being always aware of like the positive and the negative. You're like partying, but like it's like it could get very sordid very quickly,
Right.
and it depends like whether it's the people or the place or like or the substances or whatever the hell is like, whatever's outside and inside you is like, kind of like at work at all times. And I'm always kind of like, I don't know, I think it's a very cool feeling. Well, not to some people. I like that feeling of like always possibly reeling out of control and then maybe not being out of control.
Okay,
But
I
it's always
dig
there
that.
for you. It's always there for you.
That's
Lack of
true.
control is always there for you.
Well, I feel like that's kind of just in general, right? Like you can, depending on how you cope
Yeah.
with things, you can spiral out or use that as
Yeah.
inspiration to channel more. Who knows, right?
Yes. Yeah. Like, did you ever take mushrooms? Like,
Yes, I
it's
have.
like there's that like there's that feeling, is this gonna end or is it not gonna end? Like that kind of shit.
Right, right. I wanted to
Um
ask you about one of the things that also gravitates me towards you is your self-awareness and the way you present yourself and just, like you're just a dope individual. But I feel
Thank
like
you.
same thing with your music, right? Where people try to categorize you in the what genre are you? Are you pop? Are you rock? Are you this? I feel like when in the way you
Yeah.
present, I know people that have told me like, oh my God, if I was gay, totally be all about LP. And then I hear dudes say, or comment like, "Oh my God, she makes me question my sexuality," right? So I'm curious about like that kind of
It's just
almost.
the questionnaires I send around when I'm hanging out.
No,
I'm just like,
I'm curious
feel this
about like
out.
that
You feel this
very
out.
kind of more androgynous, like the Bowie-esque, Grace Jones, these
Yeah.
people that came like
Mhm.
that, but you really embody that, but it's not done in a way that's like a gimmick, it's like that's who you are.
Oh, thanks.
And
I
so I'm
appreciate
just
that.
curious about like how that I don't know how that's been for you in terms of just
Um,
your own self-expression.
Yeah, I feel like I go to this therapist now and it always says, listen to your heart, listen to your heart, listen to your heart. And I was like, I don't hear anything. Like, it's empty. But I feel like, yeah, I just kind of, like I feel like I look and am on the outside how I feel on the inside for the most part. Like I feel like um, you know, uh I just think that like it takes, it's kind of like this sounds really lame, but like almost like your diet, like I feel you know, like everybody needs different kind of foods and stuff and to look and feel their best, and it takes like experimentation in a way. And I think the same thing about your look and because I don't think I sometimes think that people don't um think they have as much leeway as they do, you know because we are so like programmed so from so young to like to be this and and that's why like anything goes now, because people get sick of that. Like we don't want that. We want it. I can tell you from firsthand experience that there's nothing better than feeling authentic in yourself and feeling comfortable in your skin, and I think I've gone through my own metamorphosis and evolution and all that, and you're never done. I don't think.
Right.
You're always like kind of like I feel like you're always like kind of dialing it in. That's what I mean. Like how like your diet. You know what I mean? Like it's like dairy doesn't work for you, don't fucking do it. And then if you find like oh you miss it and you have a little bit of it sometimes, then great. Whatever it is. So I think you're always like experimenting.
Right, right. So I wanted to ask you like one final question before we get going. So I wanted to ask a fun question. I don't know if you watch RuPaul's Drag Race at all, but
I don't. I do love RuPaul, but
okay,
I
but
don't. I'm not big. Like,
RuPaul does like a segment at one point where they ask like the queens like, what would you tell your younger self? And I'm curious, like, what
mm.
would you tell your younger self now?
Oh,
Because I know your birthday's coming up as well, so it's like a reflectionary
yeah.
period. So what would you?
Yeah. I would just tell myself not to worry as much. Guys, we spent so much time like worrying, like, I was like white knuckling through some shit because like I didn't know, like I didn't know what was gonna happen. And like, I and I don't, and I broke that mold a long time ago. But like, I come from a family like where it's like, an education and you got to be a doctor, or like, and you're like, and I just was like, whew, okay.
You're like, not for
I'm gonna
me.
be a musician, Yeah. And yeah, I think I remember like kind of like after like my probably like my like fourth record deal like fucking shat the bed. I was like, on a Grey's Anatomy fucking bender, and I'm just like, ah shit. Should have been a doctor. The hell was I thinking? Wouldn't that be awesome though if I looked exactly like I look? I was like, just everything was the same except I was like a doctor.
You would be whistling while you do
That'd be
surgery.
so cool. Yeah. People be like, I mean, meet people at a bar. I'd be like, "You're a musician, huh?" I'd be like, "No,
Yep.
actually, I'm a fucking doctor."
Well, that's awesome. When does the album actually come out? Do you have a date already, or is it still in the air?
We don't. We
Okay.
things are being like pushed around according to like when touring comes back a little, so we can like But we're releasing a new single very soon. I'm about to shoot a video for that, and I'm excited because I have so much music coming at you
Well,
soon.
my ears are excited. I'm excited. Thank you so much for the time.
Your ears look excited. They're just extended a little
You're like,
bit.
well, I'm excited to get new music from people because it's just, that's how I'm surviving and
Yeah.
thriving and doing all this as well.
I'm living for that fucking shirt, by the way, man.
Thank you so much.
Dude.
I'm telling you, I was like, I gotta sit
dope.
with LP, so I gotta like, represent a little bit.
I'm so
and
dressed down today.
oh, it's all good. I love your style either way. Even dressed down, you look dope. But thank you so much for your time, and
Thank you.
I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. And maybe
Yeah,
soon,
I can't wait to
eventually,
see
you'll
you
be in
in
person.
person.
We get to see each other.
Yeah, we'll get
Take
big
care.
hugs.
Hug.
All right. Bye.